Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant in a Mayhem. Non-spoiler review. Hello. That wasn't the cleanest, but hey, if you've ever watched that show, that song kicks. Oh, that just reminded me. There was a reference to a Ninja Turtle song in the midst of the movie. Anyways, non-spoiler review here. Basic premise is Ninja Turtles, origin story, one acceptance from the human world, live in a sewer. Pretty straightforward. There's a bad guy they have to take down, Superfly, voiced by Ice Cube. You got John Cena and Seth Rogen in the Bebop and Rocksteady roles. And, just a nice little origin story. The way they changed some of the bits and pieces of the overall origin story of the Ninja Turtles was impressive. I was genuinely surprised by the way that they were able to update and alter the overall basic story that everybody knows. There's a vial of ooze that fell into a sewer because, I forget what company it was, fell on Master Splinter before he became a rat because he had been close to the rats. They were able to update that, change it, 2023 it, whatever you want to call it. Like, good job. I was surprised. The music in this movie is good. It's all kind of R&B, hip-hop centric for the most part, and it worked really well with the movie. It vibed with the movie. The kids being 15 years old was pretty much on the money. I mean, they acted like a bunch of 15-year-olds that also happened to know ninjutsu and were mutant turtles. So all that was pretty straightforward. The art design of this movie is beautiful. People were talking about trying to compare it to Across the Spider-Verse, which I guess with its unique style, maybe. But to look at it, whenever I first saw the opening sequence with these soldier guys kind of moving around, the way the characters moved, it looked more like old school claymation to me than like new age CGI. And claymation is fantastic. It's obviously not, but it had some of that remnant like body formation, the way it moves, the way the mouths moved. But then once you're into the story and once your brain kind of clicks on and understands the way everything looks and reacts, it all just felt natural. Like once you're into the style, it hits. And there are definitely some character designs in this movie that are off the wall. There is some bad guys in particular whose character designs at moments, I mean, the Bebop and Rocksteady is already out there. So I could talk. I don't know. I haven't watched the trailer, so I don't know what other characters are out there. Lots of good action figures from back in the day. Whenever I was a kid, definitely is all I saw. It's like, hey, look, there's a character I had as an action figure. There's a character I had an action figure. There's a character as an action figure. And to me, looking at it from that perspective, it's kind of similar to the way that I had heard a lot of girls walked away from the Barbie movie. Was like, that's one I had, that's one I had, that's one I had. And it's like, they're just retailing to us in movies, aren't they? Hey, check out all this stuff that you used to have. Remember being a kid? You remember, come on. Anyways, apologies for the noise in the back. The letters B, R, and A, not in that order, are wiggling around because I had an event. Anyways, music was good, art was good, voice acting was good, the character designs are fascinating. They updated April O'Neil, which I thought was a fascinating choice. I liked the way that she looked. I thought it was interesting that they chose to design her in a more modern way, and not even ethnically, just overall design. I was just surprised. It did not hit you over the head with a Barbie body. We'll say it that way, which would be the atypical animation style, right? And she was a cool character. The teenage hormones were entertaining as they hit. Fascinating angle there. Yeah, it's hard to talk non-spoilery. The plot was straightforward. They needed to stop a bad guy from building a super weapon, and they achieved the goal. I mean, of course, spoiler alert: the good guys won. How many movies have you seen where the bad guys win again? There's not many. It's not many. I invite you to tell me, because I can only think of a couple, if that. Yeah, the movie was really good. Is it worth an in-theater experience? If you think that going to the theater to watch movies is a fun time, definitely check this one out. If you're not as inclined to see movies on the big screen, you could probably wait for this one to go to streaming service. Some of the fights were cool and definitely deserved a big screen presence, especially the end fights. But most of the movie itself was like more personalized. And if I had seen it for the first time at home instead, although I don't know how disappointed I would have been with the movie, because the movie tracks. But I also grew up watching these characters on my screen at home. So I could see where that part kind of makes sense, because I'm so used to watching Ninja Turtles on the small screen. I know I saw the very first 89 Ninja Turtles, or whatever year it was. 89, that's Batman, but whatever, 90 something, in theater, but I don't remember it. I just know that I did. Yeah, the voice cast was solid. The acting seemed straightforward. There weren't too many like annoying moments where I could have predicted the script, because I don't know that there was a lot of them. You know, there was some young verbiage that I suppose caught me off guard. There was a little bit more swearing in it, but I mean, as soon as I thought about that, I'm like, the original Raph in the first Ninja Turtles movie dropped the D word, screaming it to the city. So I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. PG movie, I think it's PG. It still can say bad words. I just think of the Ninja Turtles and I don't think of bad words. So that's my brain. And it's animated. So it's like, again, we're talking about... And are bad words bad? No. I'm the last person to say anything. I think all words are just words. One George Carlin taught me that best. It's the perceiver that receives the words that really has the problem. The person that says them, unless they don't know how to control them, I suppose, which young teenagers have a tendency to not know how to use them properly, I suppose. Anyways, yeah, solid 8 out of 10. The animation was very cool. I thought it looked great. Each turtle had their own personality. The quick, flashback of the baby turtles. Each one of them had their look. And Raphael, to me, was the standout funny one, because he was just this brutish giant turtle. And amongst the other turtles, I mean, he's a little bit bigger. Like, he's still like the tank, if you would, character. But it was just funny. I'm like, man, they make him like a tank kind of character. Yeah. Go check out this movie. It's worth a watch. It's at $95 million right now. It costs $70 million to make. It is part of a well-known franchise, label that everybody... Ninja Turtles are worldwide kinds of characters. This has the ability to be franchised. They set it up for a sequel. Surprise, surprise. But if it only makes about like $150 million, it might not get it. That being said, a movie like Dungeons and Dragons is getting a sequel, and it did not make its money back at the box office. So nothing's going to be in production for right now. Too many strikes. A lot of uncertainty until things get settled. Anyways, that all said, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Give me some comments down below. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what your experience with the Ninja Turtles has been since you were a little kid. Tell me what your favorite experience with the Turtles were. Tell me what your least favorite experience with the Turtles were. I'd say my least favorite was... maybe playing that NES game that whenever you're swimming under the water and dealing with the landmines and it's impossible to win. But like, I don't know, I think I've been predisposed to enjoying the Ninja Turtle movies. 1, 2, 3, Traveling in Time. I know that the quality wasn't like amazing, but I loved them. I think I still probably do. I haven't popped them in a long time. I also know that I can quote the original one to this day. Probably most of the lines, even though I haven't seen it in ages because I just watched the crap out of that VHS tape whenever I was little. Anyways, leave your comments in the section below, and this is Zach the Bartender out. Don't have a good day. Have a great one.